Alright, greetings to all. Today's video is going to be in the English language. It's not the first time, it's actually the second time I'm going to speak in English. Debunking somebody in the with the English language. I was actually searching for some apologetic religious guy to defend religion. Any kind of religion, actually. But unfortunately, most of the videos that speak about religion, like those apologetics who defend Christianity or Judaism or even Hinduism, Buddhism, any kind of religion, it's been answered and it's been ripped apart already by other atheists who are English-speaking atheists, whether they are American or British or Australians, etc., etc. But I found a video about a Muslim guy, an apologetic Muslim guy, who says... the title of his video, by the way, The Double Standards of Atheists, Allah or Multiverse. By the way, just first things first, greetings to all the people who are on the feed. Secondly, multiverse, that term, multiverse, is actually very dusty old term, okay? Nowadays, people who study physics, we call it cosmos, okay? We don't say multiverse, we say cosmos, okay? So, for that guy, for that man, I don't know what his name is. Anyway, the channel that I am answering, the channel is called Dawa Man, Dawa, which in Arabic means da'wah, which means the invitation or the preaching man, okay? Which is D-A-W-A-H space man, okay, M-A-N, Dawah Man. And the title of the video, Allah or Multiverse, question mark, Atheism's Double Standard. So let's take a listen. The video is not that long, it's 16 minutes, I think. 10 minutes actually, 10 minutes, the video is 10 minutes. And we're gonna hear some amazing BS. In other words, amazing bullshit. Alright? Let's take a listen, guys.
It's 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123. Which 10 to the power of 10. The probability of our universe coming into existence in a way where it permits life like us to exist, right? Is 10. You're familiar with the Penrose formula, right? That number is so big that if you were to take every single proton, neutron, electron in the universe...
Did you hear what he said? That's the Penrose formula. Okay, thank you. So you take Penrose formulas too. All right. Okay. All right. So let's take a listen then.
To represent a zero for that number, you would exhaust the protons, electrons, neutrons in the universe, but you wouldn't be able to write the number, right? So we're talking about monkey writing to be or not to be. In 28 billion years, our universe is only 14 billion years old, and you're expecting evolution to have created all these fantastic things in a short amount of time? No, and that's just for you to understand.
A lot of stuff in a lot of space, with a lot of opportunity for possibilities. At the end of the day, because the universe is so big and it's been going on for so long, 14 billion years is an inconceivable amount of time. It's small compared to 28 billion, but it's not small in general.
Yeah.
So that gentle speaking guy is the atheist. And the one you heard before is the Muslim guy, the preacher, the apologetic, okay? And they're meeting in the streets of London, Britain, I don't know where. And they're talking, so.
But yeah.
So that's the atheist, what you hear right now.
Completely mistracked.
Say that again, sorry?
Completely gone off what I was saying now.
You were saying that there's lots of possibilities.
What were you saying before?
I was talking about, the thing is this, right? For the universe to be the way that it is, there could only have been one chance, because there was only one Big Bang. It was only one moment, right?
Yeah.
And that chance was one chance in 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123.
Yeah.
So you have one chance to get everything just right, way back then.
We don't know how many Big Bangs there have been, or how many there are going on at the moment, or anything like that, if they are going on at all. So you never know. If there's an infinite number of Big Bangs, because people think there's an infinite number of parallel universes,
right.
In one of these universes, there's bound to be life, because if there's an infinite number, then anything will happen. Okay. Everything can and will happen.
Right. Okay, so when you talk about a multiverse theory, you have to understand, firstly, there is actually no scientific evidence for this whatsoever.
No, it's a theory.
Okay, he says there is no scientific evidence for this theory. Well, Mr. Dawah Man, I I urge you actually to go and check the Planck Institute, okay, because they have evidence for the inflationary cosmology, for the inflationary theory. You can go and check the Wilkinson satellite in NASA, and you can go and check the BICEP laboratory also. They have also their satellites up there, and they have measured actually the direct evidence with the accuracy of 99%. 99%, okay? 99% that inflationary did occur and happen. In inflationary cosmology actually explains it's the state of the universe before the Big Bang. Okay, explains the state of the universe, it explains actually the singularity, okay? It explains the state of the universe before the Big Bang. So actually it explains, in literal sense, explains how the universe actually expanded faster than the speed of light, and the fabric of space and time got ripped apart into small patches, and every patch expanded to become a universe. So as a result that we are observing the results of the inflationary theory, that means the fabric did rip apart. Okay, so that in other words, the multiverse, the cosmos, okay, it is a fact. Okay, it's not a theory anymore. It's a theory, maybe in the physical sense, in the physics we say theory, just like the Big Bang is just also a theory, just like gravity is also a theory, just like quantum physics is also a theory, but then it's a theory supported by evidence. There is a difference between theory, just hypothetical theories, and there is a theories who are supported by evidence and facts, and measurements and observations, etc., etc., as the methodological naturalism. Okay, so by you saying there was only one Big Bang, that actually you expose your ignorance here, because you're really, really ignorant. You should read the Big Bang actually. Read the Big Bang model, and read also the inflationary, the eternal inflationary cosmology. Read this model, okay? Because there are many models of the inflationary theory. But read the internal inflationary theory, because there it's mentioned, which has been proven. 99%. 99%. And guess what? This 1% left for the 99 is not because we can't measure it. No. It's because it goes back to the uncertainty principle of Mr. Heisenberg. Okay? We are uncertain. That's quantum physics. The uncertainty principle, I don't know if you know it or not. So that 1% is uncertain. 99% is certain that we observe the results, the direct results, with the accuracy 1 to the 100,000. And sometimes accuracy 1 to the 1 millionth. So literally that accurate. 5 digits and 6 digits numbers. We are that accurate to measure the things in the cosmos. Actually, even the scientists who came with the inflationary theory, Alan Guth, what's his name? What's his name? I forgot his name actually. Andre Linde also. Alan Guth, Andre Linde, when they came with the theory, they literally thought like there will be no experimental results. We come in with a theory, just like string theory. They thought that we're going to come with a theory that nobody can experiment it. Nobody can build an experiment to test this theory. But unfortunately for you, my dear Muslim guy, my dear Dawa man, unfortunately for you, science advances. They don't sit down and they say, yeah, we give up. Everything, Allah made it. No, they do advance, they do make their studies, their researches, and they launch their satellites, and they try to debunk or to prove a theory. That's the difference. That's the beauty also of science. That's the beauty of physics, or chemistry, or biology. That's the beauty of it. They try to prove the theory is wrong. Okay? And the results came back, and unfortunately for your sorry A, okay, unfortunately for you, the results does prove that the inflation had happened and did occur. So multiverse is now a factual thing. It's not anymore a theory or science fiction. It's factual. It's been proven up to the level of 93%. 93.1 really. And that's 6.99999999999%, that's only the observation. We are just missing the observation. But unfortunately, we are prisoners in our own cosmos bubble. So we cannot put a telescope outside the bubble to observe the other universe. Okay, so now we are searching for different ways to observe the other cosmos, or to measure actually the cosmic wave, cosmic microwave background, to observe it, to see some patches if there were some earlier universes bumping against this bubble. Okay, so this is the first expose to your ignorance, to your holy ignorance, that you say one Big Bang. Actually, inflationary theory says there were multiple Big Bangs, actually infinite amount of Big Bangs, not one Big Bang. Anyway, we continue.
It's absolutely. But here's the thing. Let's assume that it's correct. There would still have to be that first universe that came into existence by means of which all these other universes.
Humans, well, I say human, we can't comprehend there not being a beginning or an end. There has to be a beginning and an end for us to be able to comprehend it. Otherwise, we can't make sense of it.
Not for us to comprehend it.
Yeah, it just hasn't been going on forever. There isn't. Time doesn't exist.
Okay, so let me explain it to you, right? If you say that there had to have been a, because then you go into the absurdity of the infinite regress, yeah? If I say that there was a universe that created this universe, and that universe created this universe, and that created this universe, and that created this universe, it would go on for infinity. Yeah. Let me give you an example. Say I'm a soldier in the army, and you play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay. So say I've got a sniper, and I've got the sniper scope right on his head, and I'm about to shoot him. But before I shoot him, I have to ask the commander behind me. So I turn back and I say, "Sir, can I shoot him?" And imagine he says, "No, I have to ask the one behind me." And then he says, "I have to ask the one behind me." If this went on for infinity, would I ever get to pull the trigger? No, because the request to pull the trigger would be infinitely in the past. Now let's apply this to the universe. If there was a universe that created this universe, and a universe that created this universe, a universe that created this universe, this would go on for infinity.
But the multiverse theory doesn't come from universe creating universes, it comes from the universe.
And what's the problem actually by a universe creating our universe? What's the problem with that? And so what? We go back all the way to the infinities. What's the problem with that? And he said, that's the funny thing you hear with religious people. They say that's absurd. That's absurd. But what is the absurdity about it? I mean, define your absurdity. If your absurdity is logical, by all means, I would also go and come with you to your argument, and I say yes, it is absurd. But where is the absurdity? I mean, energy is conserved. Okay, the first law of thermodynamics. Energy is conserved. You cannot destroy it nor create it. Okay, so even your God is exempt from this. Even your God cannot create energy. And I double dare any religious guy to give me a formula that can create energy from nothing. Go ahead. We're still waiting for this major. Really. Well, let's hear the atheist guy. What's he going to say?
Is being created everywhere all the time. And
Right.
there's infinite number of them.
Right, so there's
creating each other, they're just there. And they always will be, and they always have been.
The multiverse theory is that there's universes coming out of other universes. So a universe...
Parallel.
No, not per se. You see, like, you're even ignorant how the multiverses are coming to be. He says the multiverse theory says that there is a universe created another universe. No, that's one of the models. That's only one and only of the models. Okay, there are many models of multiverses. Okay, one model of the multiverses is the multiple world interpretation of the quantum physics. That when we measure the electron, so we say the electron is here, and there are probabilities, and some scientists say those other probabilities exist in other universes. That's one of the multiverse theory or multiverse ideas. The other one says that the multiverse is one universe, but actually it's like a tree, like one trunk, one tree trunk, and all the branches are actually universes. And there is also the inflationary theory, which has been proven, again, I repeat, proven, 99% proven with measurements and experiments and observational experiments. Okay, this inflationary theory says that there was a bubble, and that bubble divided, okay, into infinite bubbles, and every bubble expands to make a universe. Okay, ad infinitum, and you have a problem with infinity. That's really weird, because on one hand you say God is infinite. On one hand you are accepting that God is infinite, Allah is infinite, that you're accepting it by all means. But when you hear another infinity, no, I cannot accept it. It's absurd. Why is it absurd to others, and when it comes to you, it's not absurd. That's what we call in logic, my dear friend, special pleading fallacy. When you apply laws against other, but you exempt yourself from it. Read about it. Read about logical fallacies, special pleading fallacy.
Universe is that they're not coming out of each other. They live next to each other. They're like there's so many theories. There's theories where all the universes are flat and they kind of sit next to each other like that.
So which one are you saying that the universe always existed and that's it?
That's my personal theory, yeah.
But we know this universe.
Big Bang happened, but I mean, there's always been something.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. So if the Big Bang happened, it came. If this universe exists, this universe didn't always exist. We know that, right? We have astrophysical evidence to show that the universe didn't always exist. So this universe has to have come from somewhere.
That's what we think. But why does stuff have to come from somewhere? That's
Because
just
it can't come from nothing.
Why not?
Okay, but what comes from nothing?
Universe.
No, but wait, you look. Understand.
I know, it's
No.
completely inconceivable.
It's not that it's inconceivable. Okay, it's inconceivable for a reason, because it's impossible. Look. If I tell you that there's a whole lot of nothingness, there is absolutely nothing in here. At least when you say that it comes from another universe, there's a cause. But you're saying that something is totally uncaused.
Well, the problem here is with the terms, actually, when we say nothing. What do you mean by nothing? You mean the philosophical nothing? That obsolete nothing? Absolutely nothing? Like literally nothing whatsoever? Or you mean in physics, nothing? In physics, nothing is actually something. It's not nothing. Especially in quantum physics, the nothing of quantum physics is actually not nothing. It's actually a brewing space-time with virtual particles popping in and out of existence. So I don't know what you mean with nothing here. You mean your godly nothing? Okay? Because if you have a problem, that's the double standards. The funny thing, the video is called Atheism's Double Standard. But actually here what I'm noticing, the religious people double standards. Because you don't accept any scientific value that the universe came from nothing. But yet, special pleading, again, you special plead your God. Okay, yet again, you accept that God created from nothing. Pretty weird, isn't it? I mean, I don't get it, really. Whether you go with one road and you stick with it, or you stick with your road and accept also your opponent's also arguments, which is taking your same road, actually. You believe in creation from nothing. If some other guy in front of you gives you a physics evidence, that from nothing can come a universe, why don't you accept it? Especially it's physics, when it's scientific evidence.
Right?
Yeah.
That's worse than believing in magic. Do you believe in magic?
No, I don't believe in magic.
Because at least when the magician pulls the rabbit out of the hat, there's a hat in which he pulls the rabbit out of.
But I don't know. But what caused God then? What caused God then?
See, okay, so that's the thing, right?
He's telling the atheist that's worse than believing in magic. My dear brother, you believe in miracles. You believe in the talking snake. Okay? You believe on a guy who flew to the seventh heaven on an animal beyond the mule, bigger than a donkey. Okay? You believe in a guy who split the sea. You believe in a virgin birth. Okay? A virgin lady got impregnated without any semen. Okay? Got impregnated and gave birth to a prophet. You believe in a rock gave birth to a camel. Okay? And you have the audacity to come to this guy, tell him you believe in... That's the worse than believing in magic. Well, what do you call yourself then, when you believe in such atrocities that actually cannot go with logic and mind and scientific stuff, really? What do you call yourself then? A delusional guy? What do you call yourself? Of course, you're gonna say, those are miracles. That's the funny thing when people talk about miracles. When they mention the term miracle... As if they put logic inside of it, like now it's logical because I called it miracle. It's still illogical stuff. It's still not logical, unscientific. I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's still fucking unscientific, illogical, okay? Whether you call it miracles, whether you call it abracadabra, whether you call it hambra bababra, I don't care. It's still illogical stuff, okay? A guy flew on an animal to the seventh sky without even an astronaut's suit. Okay? A guy splitting the sea. Okay, a token snake talking with a lady. Okay, tempting her to eat the forbidden fruit. A token snake. I've never seen a token snake, really. I consider this really like kids' stories, really, when you read. Come on, man, I have no fucking comments. Go ahead.
If we go through this theory of they're having to, something has to cause something, something has to cause something. If I say who created the God, who created the God, who created the God, who created the universe, this would go on for infinity. And this universe wouldn't have come into existence because infinity has no beginning, no ending, no middle. So we would not actually get to the present time in which the universe was created. This is why Richard Dawkins in his book The God Delusion in chapter 4, he affirms to the fact that there has to have been a first cause. But what he says is, he says the first cause was the universe. But we say, hold up, how can that, like, that's what the universe had to have also have, exactly, the universe also has to have a cause. I mean, look, Richard Dawkins, his only evidence is this, yeah? Are you familiar with him?
Yeah.
Okay, he says that the only reason I deny that there was an intelligent creator is because you have to now explain the creator, right? And the explanation is too complex. Now, our response to Richard Dawkins is that you don't need a best explanation. You don't need an explanation for the best explanation, because otherwise science would destroy itself. Because the whole point of science is to provide an explanation. But that means that he has to apply this to himself. Now, he has to go into his laboratory, and when he explains something, he'll say, no, I can't, before I publish this, I've got to find an explanation for this explanation, and find an explanation of this explanation. If this went on for infinity, and you're infinitely providing explanations, what do you have at the end of it? No explanation. And the whole point of science is to do what? Provide an explanation.
I get what you mean, yeah. But I don't know.
But that's why I'm saying that's why, and when we have a creator, we have a cause of the universe. If you say there's a million universes, fine. Our scholars, for example, Ibn Taymiyyah, he mentioned that there is a possibility of a multiverse 500-600 years ago. Because the Quran mentions that in the first line of the Quran, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, all praise and thanks is to the master of all the worlds. So they're like, from this week, we have no problem. There could have been other universes. And they actually came up with these theories 500-600 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So I got no problem, but ultimately you still have to have one cause that kicked it all off.
Okay, he says, this is funny, guys. He says the Quran actually, he is the first one who came with the idea of multiverse, actually, because Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, which means thank God for the God of worlds, okay, multiple worlds, plural, okay, so that means plural universes, okay. Well, all right, and he says our Imam Ibn Taymiyyah. Ibn Taymiyyah, by the way, guys, just to enlighten you, for those who are listening in English, if you are in Arabic, if you are listening in Arabic, you know who is Ibn Taymiyyah well, okay? You know, actually ISIS, okay? Fucking ISIS, actually, following the teachings of Ibn Taymiyyah, okay? What ISIS are doing, what Al-Qaeda is doing, they are following the fucking teachings of Ibn Taymiyyah, with all due respect. Okay? Now, Ibn Taymiyyah, what he did, you know what he did when he came? When he gained power? He actually prohibited the use of logic. Literally, he prohibited the use of logic. And any Muslim guy uses logic, he would actually be executed as an apostate. And there are many fatwas from him condemning that. Okay, that's Ibn Taymiyyah, which the Muslim guy is actually using him as a great mind who came with the idea of multiverse. It is obvious that this Muslim guy is actually very, very ignorant in religions, because actually the Hindus, thousands of years before Christ, okay, the Hindus 1,000 years before Christ, they mentioned in their holy books, in the Bhagavad Gita, they mentioned the multiverse. Okay, so who is stealing from whom here actually? Who was first here? Were the Hindus first? Were the Hindus having the righteous God? Or you Muslims?
Yes,
What kicked God off? That's what I mean.
but that's what.
Is God outside of that? He doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. Because if he wasn't, if God was cause, we wouldn't be cause. Because if there has to be, like, look, if I throw a row of dominoes and all the dominoes are falling, you know that for the dominoes to fall in the first place, there had to have been something outside the domino to knock it off. There had to have been a cause outside it. You see what I'm saying? That was not part of the domino chain. The same way with the creator, I told you that this universe needs a cause, right?
This guy is using another fallacy, a logical fallacy, which is called false equivalence fallacy, because he's comparing two stuff that got nothing to do with each other, or they have different conditions and terms. For example, when he said, if I'm a sniper and I get order and I get an order and I get an order, that's different thing from the universe creation from another universe. That's different, okay? Because the universe, when it creates another universe, that's not the universe giving an order to the universe to be created. There is no order. It's just a process, a natural process of happenings. Okay? Now he's using another wrong equivalence, which he says the dominoes. If you are knocking the dominoes, then you yourself who knocked the dominoes, you're not part of the dominoes. Yes, you're correct. But you're still within the same dimensions of the dominoes. You're still within the space-time, okay? Matter and energy, you're still with the same dimension of the dominoes itself. You're not outside the universe and knocking the dominoes. You are still inside the universe, inside the space-time, the same exact fabric space-time that the dominoes are being knocked. Okay, so you are trying to give this equivalence with your God who created the universe, but yet you commit the fallacy here because you're comparing the dominoes with your God. Why? Because your God, according to your words, he's outside space and time. Okay? Your God is outside space and time. Well, provide me a physical evidence of that. How is your God is outside space-time, the fabric of space-time, yet he can inflict effects inside space and time? Provide me the link, okay? Provide me the connection. How does he do it? Just by faith? Well, I'm sorry, I'm not buying faith. I'm a scientific guy studying physics, okay? I don't buy faith. In physics, we don't have faith. I'm sorry. We have evidence. Whether you have evidence or you don't, okay? We don't wake up every day like we believe in atomic theory. We believe in Big Bang. I pray that the Big Bang is real. We don't have this in physics, okay? You, on the other hand, you have it. I believe that God created us. I believe that God created the universe. Evidence for that? Any evidence? None. Zero. Zip. Nada. You have nothing. Continue.
Right? But if you have a cause, and that cause is a cause, and that cause is a cause, assuming this cause is God, and it goes on for infinity, you would never actually get to the final cause who caused this universe because it's infinite. So that means we wouldn't exist. But do we exist? But that means we're evidence to the fact that whatever our cause is, was one cause.
Well, why? No, really. Why you have problem with infinity? Seriously. Why you have problem with infinity? Why? You have some allergy, like really, infinity. You know, like what's wrong with you? Seriously, seriously, infinity is cool. Infinity is mathematical, by the way. It's been proven. It happens physically also. There are some metals they radiate infinitely. There is no limit to their radiation. Okay, that's facts. That's facts, concrete facts. Okay. Light, sometimes there are other lights, they are radiate infinitely. Okay, there is no limit to their radiation, and that's facts. Measurements, we measure it. Okay, draw a circle. Okay, draw a circle. Divide its parameter on its radius. What do you get? What do you get when you divide the parameter of a circle on its radius? What do you get? Let me guess. What do you get? You get the number of pi. What is the end of the number of pi? Infinite. Wow. This is... Wow. How? Well, that's fact in your face. Okay? Why do you have a problem with infinite? And why do you compare that the universe creating another universe in an infinite regress? Why you consider it an impossibility? Why? And why you consider that a God created your God also an impossibility? Why? Why? Imagine this. Take this as an example, okay? Imagine. Hundreds of gods. Hundreds, okay? 100, okay? Hundreds of gods. The 100th, okay, the 100th god said to the 99th, create another god. The 99th said to the 98th, create another god. The 98th to the 97th, and etc., 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 moving to the second, okay? All those gods, they just gave one order, create another god, okay? Reaching to the second god gave a different order. He said, create a universe to your God, Allah. And your Allah created the universe. Why your illogical mind cannot accept this? What is wrong with it? Am I saying something illogical here? Am I saying something illogical? No, there is nothing wrong with it. But just because of faith, you have a faith, and you're not allowed to think, don't doubt, don't be skeptic. No, don't think. Just take and swallow, and don't question. Don't question anything. Okay, just take it by faith, and that's it. Allah is one, that's it. That's why you freeze your mind, actually. You make it like a stone, like nothing goes through it. Whatever liquid I pour above of those stone, it's not going to seep inside through the stone, Continue, brother.
Could have been the Big Bang.
Okay, but the big...
I literally have no answer. I can't think of what could have caused the Big Bang.
Okay, but that's what I'm thinking, right? So, because the Big Bang... Look,
Give it time, scientists will prove it.
okay, but that's the thing. You know why scientists can never prove it? Because it's outside of the natural world. Right. But it's conceptually, you see how simple it is. It's like 1 + 1. Look, this is the deductive argument. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Agreed? The universe began to exist.
No, I don't agree. Everything starts to exist has a cause. No, I don't agree. There are some stuff in quantum physics has no cause. Cause and effect is literally diminished in quantum physics. And the universe started from these levels, okay? The universe, the Big Bang, okay? It started from quantum level, where there is no cause. Cause and effect has no meaning here, okay? So when you imply cause and effect, this is actually a cutting-edge stuff, maybe 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, those Aristotelian arguments, those are, yeah, we're good, we're good. We can buy it at that time, back then. But now, these days, brother, we have quantum physics. Quantum physics actually slapped the heck out of you and told you there are some stuff that has no cause. Cause and effect is diminished, simply. There is no cause and effect. That is what we call in quantum physics the pattern, okay? Because sometimes we see in quantum physics, A causes B, B causes C, and C causes A. And back also, A causes C, and B causes A. So literally, the cause and effect get switched with their parts. Sometimes the cause becomes the effect, and the effect becomes the cause. And if you have a cutting-edge equations for the quantum physics, please provide us, really, please provide us, by all means. Enlighten those theoretical physicists who are scratching their heads with really complicated equations, actually. Enlighten us, I don't mind. If you have cause and effect in quantum physics, please provide us this. So maybe all the theoretical physicists are really living in a blind world, and only this genius Muslim, he has the cutting-edge equations, of cause and effect in quantum physics. Explain me the cause and effect of quantum entanglement. Go ahead. Provide us these equations. Give me the cause and effect of quantum tunneling. Provide me this. Even Stephen Hawking couldn't solve it. This genius, Stephen Hawking, who does equations, complicated equations in his head, couldn't even solve the quantum tunneling. And you, an average guy in London, who actually is ignorant in physics, you think you can solve it? I would say good luck.
Agreed. So that means the universe had a cause.
No!
Say that again?
In order for God to exist, must he therefore be caused?
No, but I explained to you how God can't be caused. How God is...
But
I said everything that...
caused, then he can't possibly...
No, but that's the thing. I said everything that begins to exist has a cause. God never began.
And how do you know that God never began? Because the Quran said so. Circular reasoning. How do you know that God is true? Because it's mentioned in the Quran. How do you know that God has no beginning? Because it's mentioned in the Quran. That's why God is true and God is infinite and God has no beginning. Because it's mentioned in the Quran. And because it's mentioned in the Quran, that God is right. And that's why my God is right, because he's mentioned in the Quran. And they go with this circular reasoning. That's also a fallacy, by the way. It's a logical fallacy, which you use here. Just because, and also special pleading fallacy. Because you exempt your God from having a cause, but you imply cause and effect on everything. Except, I plead specially to my God, to Allah. Only Allah is exempt from this. Yeah. No, very logical, really. Very logic.
Exactly. Necessarily. And
Hard to comprehend.
So this is the whole video, basically. And at the end, he put some comments. He said, look of the double standard of atheism. And he repeats the quote of the guy. Here he is finding it difficult to comprehend an uncaused creator of the universe even, uni. Actually, we don't even use the term universe, by the way, in physics nowadays. We say cosmos. Literally, I'm not joking. The real studies we do now in astrophysics and physics and cosmology, we don't even say universe. We say literally cosmos. Because now we are accepting the idea that our cosmos is not one universe. It's multiverse. It's cosmos. But earlier, he had no problem asserting infinity to the multiverse. Yeah, I have no problem.
There's an infinite number of big bangs, because people think there's an infinite number of parallel universes.
Right.
In one of these universes, there's bound to be life, because if there's an infinite number, then anything will happen.
Okay.
Everything can and will happen.
The multiverse is just a substitute to Allah, and yet Allah, being the cause of the universe, is the most coherent explanation. What kind of coherent explanation are you talking about? You yourself cannot define your Allah. You cannot define him. So how can you say it's a coherent explanation? A coherent explanation should be definable. And you yourself, you gotta say, our human minds are unable to define such a complex being. Is that coherent? What's the difference between your argument and a Hindu argument? He will come and put, instead of Allah, he will put his God. Brahma, Shiva, Hanuman, etc., etc. What's the difference? What's the difference between a Christian coming in your spot and instead of Allah, he says the Lord? Okay, what's the difference between a Jew coming in your side and instead of Allah, he puts Yahweh? Okay, what's the difference? There is no difference. You all have the same arguments, which is based on faith. Okay? Based on faith without evidence, simply. Believe without evidence. Just because you have some spiritual holy books, and you have to take it by blind faith. Without any shred of evidence. Well done. No, really. I'm convinced, really. Now I'm gonna leave atheism and follow Islam. And by the way, you speak about the Big Bang, you speak about physical stuff, and you speak about really complex physics equations, really physical equations and everything, and multiverse. These are some complex equations, really. Especially when you go to quantum physics, really, we have some really complex equations there. The funny thing, guys, in the Quran, okay, I'm not going to bring Ibn Taymiyyah quotes. I'm not going to bring any other quotes. But in the Quran, so it's your God's word. Okay, in the Quran, in the chapter called Fussilat. Okay, read the verse 9 to the verse 12. There it said clearly, God created earth first, then he created the sun. Is that accurate with the physics? Is that accurate? Because what is known in physics, in every solar system, the star must be formed first. Okay? To create the bending in the fabric of space and time, the bending in the curve in space and time that bend will create the effect of gravity. The effect of gravity will make the dust and gases around the star to form planets. So in other words, the star must form first, then planets. In the Quran we see exactly the opposite. We see that God created Earth, then he created the moon and the sun and the stars. Oh no, really, pretty scientifically accurate here. Really. That's what I feel like, really. I mean, some religious people are really being, I don't want to say bad words, but but anyway, I mean, really, go fix your holy books from the scientific mistakes in your Quran. Okay? Go fix your mathematical mistakes in the Quran. There is even mathematical mistakes in the Quran, okay? Especially when it comes with inheritance. There are some major mathematical mistakes. So, I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe in a God created this complex cosmos, okay? With this complex equations in it, and he cannot divide a simple inheritance on people. And he makes really horrible mathematical mistakes that a 6th grade guy, a sixth grade math can solve it. Okay? So anyway, that was all, guys. That was all, folks. I'm really glad to, please, everybody who listened to this, everybody seeing this, if you have any videos actually that speaks in English from apologetics guys, people, anyway, any kind of religion, I don't mind, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hindu, etc., etc., please put it in the comments, and I will try to answer them or debunk them sooner or later. Alright? As usual, love you all, and cheers, a love, a respect. Bye.